Hey, this is something that I've been wanting to talk about for a while. It's Google ads versus Facebook ads. And I think before we get into that, we also need to understand what role does it play in a marketing funnel. Also, if my eyes keep looking around, again, I got my notes over here, so I want to make sure I don't miss anything. With the decreased quality of attribution from Google and most marketing platforms, we're starting to see like the quality and understanding of truly how the funnel works is becoming more important, because if you're running ads and you don't know, hey, what is this Google search campaign versus this Performance Max campaign versus my Facebook versus my Pinterest campaign, and what are they doing in the funnel? What kind of creative? Who are we targeting? Are they interest? Are they retargeting? Are they lookalike audiences? And do we have G4 set up? And do we know that 15 to 30% of the analytics that are coming in through there aren't even accurate? And well, I mean, accurate to an extent. Might track the view, but the conversion event or things like that. How detailed is the conversion event track? Things like that. It is just becoming more and more, and it always has been. It hasn't been talked about enough, in my opinion, but it's always been really important to understand what role do your paid ads play when you're talking about customer acquisition, lifetime value, things like that. So, not to bore you guys to death, I do want to talk about just where these have a role, and hopefully it'll help you to make a decision on, hey, I think I'm going to go with Google ads first, or I think I'm going to go with Facebook ads, because the main point, and if there's one thing you take away from this video, it's that the intent of the platform is different, right? If you're on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok, a lot of those channels function the same way. I think understanding the demographics of Facebook might be a little bit different at this point, and kind of the direction that it's going. It's going to probably start gearing towards older individuals, but I still see it to be very successful for my clients. So on Facebook alone, we probably manage anywhere around 200 to 300K a month just for Facebook between most of our clients. So we're still doing a lot of ad buying there. Again, we're strong on Google, and TikTok is obviously, a huge runner right now. So that being said, understanding the demographic is, I would say, probably one of the most important pieces to this as well, because the client that's doing, lead gen versus the person that's doing e-commerce, and it really doesn't come down to that, actually, whether it's lead gen or e-commerce. It comes down to more of, the business, and are you selling shoes or are you selling a software? Are those people going to be on Facebook? Now, you could argue that everyone's on, social media platforms, so you should be on there. But when you really nail down, are they going to be making high intent Google searches? So all I'm saying is it's really important to think about your consumer and what they're going to be doing from an activity perspective. So when I'm trying to target, a lot of individuals that have high intent and we want to get the ball rolling right away, definitely want to lean into Google, right? Because, they might be searching for, let's say we're selling black shoes, right? If we're selling, black Nike shoes, I don't know why I picked that, but if someone is there, they're going to be more likely to purchase versus on Facebook. So again, keeping that in mind, but if they don't purchase there, retargeting them through, Facebook or Instagram is key, because you can get a lower or a cheaper CPC, show them other products, maybe they add a couple more things to their cart, boom, now you have a higher conversion value. Now, the key is, if you're doing Google, you're doing Facebook, you're doing Instagram, you're doing Pinterest, you're doing TikTok, how are you tracking this? Are you tracking it? Are you tracking it with UTMs? Do you have, a third-party tracking software like Triple Whale? So again, a lot of things to keep in mind here. But again, let me just break down the funnels here that I wanted to talk about. So we have top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, and bottom of the funnel. Top of the funnel, you can do, so just to be clear, you can use all channels at each level of the funnel. It's just, the different, tactically, it's the different buttons that you tick in the advertising setup. So for example, with Google, if you're targeting someone that is making a specific search to purchase right away, you could argue that they already are at middle to bottom of the funnel. And whereas on Facebook, they're scrolling for that cat video, like I said, and now your product's there, and now maybe they're like, oh, either they become problem aware, business aware, they become aware of, again, your product or things like that. So I think the way I like to do it is I really like to lean on Google to get people to the website and then use the social platforms to re-hit them for a cheaper return back to the website. Again, all these platforms do top of funnel and middle of funnel. So it's good to have a mix between all the channels and knowing and then measuring which part of the funnel is kind of pushing them through it. So again, top of the funnel, you can do a lot of social through there, Google as well. Middle of the funnel, that's, bringing people back, getting them to purchase. And then bottom of the funnel / kind of lifetime value. I love talking about the lifetime value piece, and I encourage you to really think about this, because I had a client that was, we were getting a 7 or 8x return, but or 7 to 8x ROAS. Great. They're happy. That's awesome. We're killing it. But, I said, hey, what's the lifetime value? How often do your customers come back and repeat? And it was something ridiculous, like 50% of their customers are come back and make a purchase. And so, if we made a one-to-one sale on, we sold you this product and that person comes back, let me back up. If we made a one-to-one sale, so $1 spent, one person comes in, and you did that 10 times knowing that someone has a 50% returning customer rate, you could still become profitable. Now, is it the best way to do it? Maybe not, but you get my point. So if you can make sure that your email funnels, your remarketing, and people are coming back and they're doing that sort of thing, then you can really increase your ad spend knowing that you have a high lifetime value and people really get attached to your brand. So again, strongly recommend you measure that, because then we were able to drive, hey, let's increase the total of orders. If ROAS dips a little, we're okay with that. Why? Because we know people are coming back. We're increasing overall brand exposure. We're spending a little bit more ad dollars just to reach into some other markets. Might be a little bit more expensive. Cost per conversion might go up, but we're still maintaining a 3, 4, even 5 ROAS. And we know what's possible, right? We know that we've established a 7 or 8 ROAS. Not every client's going to be okay with that, but again, it's important to kind of set those boundaries and expectations early on. Ask those questions. Where are you comfortable with, where they're at, and things like that. So that's something for you to definitely think about. So in summary, Google users tend to have a higher buying intent because they're actively searching already for the products or services, while Facebook users may not be as far along in the buying process and are more interested in the social interaction piece. And a lot of times users want to see if the brand has social engagement, people are interacting, it's a legit brand, especially if you're kind of new or your brand is new. And then again, I think keeping in mind, are you selling a $300 product? Are you selling a $500 product? What is the lifetime, or what is the amount of time it typically takes someone to purchase? Do they need to come back 10 to 15 times? I'll give you an example. I have a brand, they sell a very high-end, material product, and we've seen that it can take people anywhere between 15 days to even 3 or 6 months to come back. So, when I'm talking to them and saying, hey, we need to be able to measure this before the sale comes in, we need to know the type of searches that people are making, that they're coming in and they're ready to purchase, maybe not then, but they're ready to purchase in a couple months. It's a planning thing. So, again, know your brand. And some of these things you just don't know until you test. You can definitely do enough research, and I would encourage you to look into that and see, what are other brands doing? What does it seem to be the average amount of time from when a user visits, learns about your brand, sees it, they decide maybe they got to go back, talk to their husband or wife, and then come back and purchase. So there's things like that to keep in mind. So always be retargeting as well. So that's my last piece for you. AI is going to come in and hopefully help out with a lot of this eventually. Might get rid of my job. But keep in mind, you should always be retargeting and keeping users aware of the brand. And you can do this relatively cost effective if you're using social platforms after they come in from high intent on Google. All right. Peace.